In the Gospel, on this first Friday of Lent, the Lord does indicate that the time will come when they will fast. The monastic experience is that the desert is linked also with a certain simplicity, even with regard to what goes into the body. The flaccid body is lazy. When there is a certain emptiness, there's a certain clarity and a greater openness to the things of the Spirit. Certain things were even perceived even before Christian times. In pagan philosophy, the juxtaposition of what we would call the contemplative life and the active life is already there. The bios theoretikos was reserved to those who had the leisure to study and to enjoy being in the realm of wisdom, philosophy. Friends of wisdom they were. While the great majority had to do what Adam had to do as his punishment, work the ground, and heavy labor was to bring sweat to his brow. The bios praktikos, the active life. And indeed, in classic times, the slaves would not have had the leisure to study and would not have read very much, if at all. Education was for the privileged. But then, specifically in the Christian centuries, there is that division between what we see majorly in Martha and that we find in Mary. It is not either or, it is both and. But Lent is a time when we do have the privilege of simplifying things and letting the Lord be Lord. And therefore a certain shedding of the unnecessary comes in. When unsure of the way ahead, years ago, I was before the Blessed Sacrament here in Ireland. It was exposed at Kilnacrot, and in the heart of the night one did perceive things, and a word, as it were, came from the monstrance. I am here, why look any further? And there one could see the beauty of a life just given to gazing upon love and doing nothing but being a living candle of love, praising the presence. And I was given the word of, I believe it was Pope Pius XI, referring to the order. Your order is gloriously Eucharistic and Eucharistically glorious. The maximum for the Blessed Sacrament, which is the continuation of the Incarnation on our altars until the end of time. The locus, therefore, where heaven and earth meet. It is a good place to be until death, with the angels, the bios theoretikos, the life of gazing, contemplari. And then that word of St. Thomas, contemplari et contemplata aliis tradere, to contemplate and to give unto others the things contemplated. I am here, why look any further? Oh, little ring of glory made of love, look on and on. and on, and melt the ore. Small particle of essence from above, in dead of night, without a sound, a call from depth of presence dense, removes the earth from many orbits' centre, and these rays, with which man's art would point toward Godhead's worth, would seem to point to where must point my days. O ancient miracle of ages old, that pondered and that wondered long at this, have hominids at times been somewhat bold, not dreading, while oft treading realms of bliss? And is 1 hour too long for puzzlement, when God scarce mastered this experiment? That refers to what had just been given by the novice master, a DVD to watch on Eucharistic miracles. In some of these, the host failed to conceal the change. Our God is a God ever new.